All right, we are live back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter is out tonight, but as the thumbnail says, the Dallas Cowboys escape with a victory. Um, I don't know how the Giants are feeling about this, but Cowboys got it done tonight. Um, I thought Dak played well. The offensive line played well. And Dak was 22 of 27, 220, 21 yards. I thought Dallas struggled running the ball a bit. I thought they could have ran the ball better. Really shocked by Brian Daboll's play calling, deciding to throw the ball almost 40 times, but the Giants didn't really have much of a run game. Malik Neighbors balled out tonight. Thought he played really well. Um, and Robinson caught 11 balls. Neighbors 12 balls. So just overall great performances by those two guys. CD Lamb almost had 100 yards receiving. Jake Ferguson had some big catches. Overall, pretty decent performance by the Cowboys. I thought the Giants could have played a little bit better. Just some execution errors on their end. I thought quite a few drop balls, in my opinion, on the Giants side of it. But Daniel Jones, the offensive line for the Giants played well. Singletary just seemed like he could not get it going. The offensive line struggled to run block, I thought. But outside of that, if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, come on over to YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow the show. Get interactive with the chat. Always open for questions. Like I said, Carter is out today, but the Thursday night football. Malik Neighbors, I guess, had a concussion tonight. We'll have to see how that goes for the Giants. And on that front, with that being said, Ezekiel Elliott didn't get many carries tonight. I thought that was really strange. And you had Gray get some carries. They had CD Lamb lined up in the backfield for a handoff. I thought that was really weird tonight. Some injuries. Diggs had to go into the locker room to get an IV. I thought that was kind of strange. Eric Kendricks balled out tonight. I thought both defenses played pretty decent, pretty clean games for the most part. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Always open for questions. But yeah, kind of interested to see what Cowboys fans think of this. I'm sure they're happy to get the win after last week. The New Orleans debacle. The Giants go to 1-3. Playoff hopes not looking great. But we'll go over some team stats as well. No team offensively was really great on third down tonight. The Giants were 3 of 10. The Giants were 5 of 16. The Cowboys 3 of 10. It was pretty much a field position battle. Nobody really exploded offensively. The Cowboys ended up with 293 yards. The Giants with 303. Again, I went over the passing stats. The Giants only had 26 yards on the ground. So that is not a good not a good not a good stat number, but Daniel Jones did have the interception. Um, I don't think that was the factor. The one thing that's concerning with the Cowboys to me is the penalty yards. 11 for 89. The Giants were 435. Um, just and the Giants dominated time of possession. I think that was something that uh, helped keep them in the game. Uh, First down count, Giants 16 first downs, uh, Dallas 14. So nothing too eye popping on the stat sheet. And so I guess we'll see where it goes for Dallas moving forward. There was also a college football game tonight. I do believe Temple and Army, and Army put it on them. So the Black Knights get a huge win against Temple. Uh, Army moves to 4-0, 4 or 5-0. That's a big win for the Service Academy. Also, it is a big weekend coming up for me and Carter. We're going to be in South Bend for the new people that are here. We are going to be up in. We're going to be around the Notre Dame tailgate area this weekend for those that'll be up there for the Louisville game. We'll be there. Carter's getting an Airbnb, so we'll be around. Any Notre Dame fans out there watching this, we'll be around up there. Um, so, with that being said, and we're going to be live on Saturday as well, probably from the Airbnb or a tailgate. We're just trying to work out the logistics of that. So yeah, the Dallas Cowboys go into MetLife, beat the New York Football Giants. Um, not overly, not overly impressive. I didn't think Dallas. They just played okay. Um, I'm not sure what this Cowboys team is going to be going forward. Um, I think how Dak Prescott plays is how this team goes, and I think that how well the defense plays as well is going to be a determining factor on this. So no no real concern. The Giants, the big thing with them is that if they roll to, you know, let me look and see who they have next week. The Giants got to go to Seattle, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. Then they have the Steelers come to town. So, the Giants got to sneak one somewhere, or it might be another long year for the Giants fans out there. Uh, that is that's not a favorable schedule. I mean Cincinnati, but at some point Burrow might rattle off 7-8 games in a row. You never know. So, but the Eagles, I think it helps they have the Eagles at home. Going to Pittsburgh, that is not going to be a fun road trip because the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is for real. Some people don't want to admit that, but it is for real. And we'll look at the upcoming opponents for Dallas. So next Sunday night, the Cowboys go to Pittsburgh, Detroit, San Francisco, Atlanta, Philly. The next couple opponents that they have that is not a favorable schedule. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not liking that. San Francisco, I think Minnesota is a lot better than what people think and what people give them credit for. Sam Darnold is slinging that thing. So I think that there's some teams that are outliers out there that are good opponents. The Bills, Jets, I think they're for real. New England's work in progress. Miami, uh, they got to figure out the Tua situation, or it may be a long year for the Fish. Um, might be looking at potentially a number one pick if they don't have the Tua situation figured out, and they have committed all that money to him. So uh, hopefully they get some type of answer on what direction they are going to go as far as the Miami side of it. Pittsburgh, 3-0, sitting on top of the AFC North. Baltimore's been inconsistent. I think they have a lot of issues on offense, so we'll see if they can get that figured out. Just running down the divisions here. Um, Cleveland, I think Cleveland's a disaster. I think Stefanski needs to change the offense to fit his quarterback's skill set. I don't think he's done that. I think the Deshaun, if I could speak, not Ryan Delly, but the Deshaun Watson saga, I think will continue. I don't know if the Browns will cut bait with him. I think they keep Stefanski in play. I think they're going to try to make that work. They have a lot of money committed there, and I just don't see them going away from the Bengals. Cincinnati needs to figure it out. Uh, big thing with that is I think Burrow just needs to play better. You can't lose to the Patriots. I get it; it's week one, but in the NFL, it seems like the first 2-3 games every year are like preseason games. People trying to figure it out on offense. Uh, Houston last week got dominated by Minnesota. I think Houston will be able to figure it out. Indianapolis is not very good. I think their defense is better than their offense. I don't trust AR5 standing back there slinging it. Uh, the Indianapolis Colts may be a long year for you. Jacksonville 0-3, Tennessee 0-3. Here's an interesting. If I could do a poll question, I wonder how many games combined will the Colts, Jaguars, and Titans win? Can they combine win for? Can they combine for 20 wins? Because I think that I just don't think that happens. Uh, for Houston could go 6-0 in the division. Tennessee, Will Levis, bad decision, not good decisions made. Trevor Lawrence he's lost his last 11 in a row, and yet the Jaguars have paid him. So I guess we'll see where that turns out. Kansas City doing Kansas City things, 3-0. They'll probably the Chiefs will probably lay an egg somewhere throughout the division going forward. I just they'll probably lose a game they shouldn't, and everybody will say the dynasty's over. The big thing for me is with the Chiefs, they gotta they gotta lose in the playoffs before I'll believe anything otherwise. Mahomes pretty good. Andy Reid, you know, uh, elite play caller. And the interesting team, the team I find the most interesting out of this whole AFC West division is the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know what the Chargers will be for real this year. I would not count them out on pushing hard for a playoff spot. The Harbaugh school of thought is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Don't turn the ball over, play good defense. And I think, aside the sign stealing stuff that went on at the University of Michigan, that Harbaugh and Minter and all those guys that bolted for Los Angeles, they got a pretty good defensive unit. So maybe Jesse Minter can coach. The Raiders, the Raiders are tough because I think the Raiders are better than what people give them credit for. I think Minshew is not the long-term answer, but he could be a short-term answer for AP and the Raiders. The Broncos, to me, are huge work in progress. I don't know what Sean Payton's doing. I mean, he completely stripped the covered bare to to see what's going on there. And as far as that goes, you're starting a rookie quarterback. You completely dumped all to most of your offensive weapons. So I guess that's a problem. And then we'll translate to the uh, NFC East. Commanders. I think I'm buying some stock in the Commanders. They look good against Cincinnati on offense. Jaden Daniels stays healthy. Um, I think the Commanders could be for real. Uh, the Giants 1-3. They're obviously still a work in progress, trying to figure it out offensively. If they could get some semblance of a run game going, and I hate to say it, but Saquon Barkley's not walking through the door, so the Giants maybe gambled and lost on that deal. Uh, Dallas 2-2, sitting not the driver's seat, but um, sitting okay. Philly, I'm actually out on the Eagles, and I'm just out on the Eagles. I think they have issues on offense. I'm just not the biggest Sirianni guy. I can't believe he's still employed when Sirianni, has had some big time coaching blunders. Um, Last week's Monday night game, how they completely, I don't put that on. I don't put that on Sirianni as much, but as a coaching staff as a whole, he's got to, how about you get to flip the button and make a headset call and say, hey, how about we do this and try to stop the 3-level passes going to the sideline, i.e., you know, um, the NFC North. Minnesota's wearing the crown right now. Detroit's looked a little inconsistent. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks busted them up. So maybe that's what they needed to wake Detroit up. Green Bay's 2-1 with Malik Willis. We'll have to see if Jordan Love comes back this week. Haven't read the rumor speculation mill on that. Chicago Bears sitting in last place. I think if the Bears can steal a couple of wins, maybe they could scratch and claw to maybe try to sniff the playoffs, but not looking good when you can't beat Anthony Richardson, the turnover machine with the Colts. New Orleans finally got brought back down to reality. The AFC South, or not the AFC South, the NFC South might be one of the most inconsistent divisions out there. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina. To be honest, I don't trust any of those teams just going forward. Um, I don't think that I don't know if Derek Carr can play consistent enough down the stretch to take control of that division. Same thing with Tampa Bay. I don't know if Baker can take control of the division. Atlanta's got the best quarterback, but played the Steelers, played Kansas City, got a win against the Eagles. So Atlanta's kind of had a tough stretch of their first 3 games, so maybe they'll bounce back this week. Carolina, I don't know what Carolina is going to be with the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. So we'll have to see what that is. I mean, he was the first quarterback. He's the only quarterback, I think, last week to throw for 300 yards, which is crazy. That just goes to show you how bad the quarterback play is in the NFL right now. Then we go to the NFC West. Seattle somehow is 3-0. The Cardinals 1-2. Rams 1-2, and the Niners 1-2. So somebody's got to figure it out in that division. And it might be the Seattle Seahawks that got out to an early lead here. And, a lot of people forget in the NFL, particularly when you sneak some of these early season wins in weeks 1 through 4, really matter at the end of the year. and division games really matter too. So that's just the rundown of what's going on, and obviously big college football weekend, and it gets kicked off on Friday night with Miami. I think the Canes roll in Miami. I don't think there's too big time of a games outside of the Georgia Alabama game this week. Um, Kentucky Ole Miss, like the Rebs in that one. Minnesota Michigan. I think that is going to be a whatever the under is on that. I would take it. I mean, neither team can, throw the ball down the field. So Michigan might run for 500 yards. So Oklahoma State, Kansas State, K-State at home. I like that. The Cougs, BYU. If you've watched previous shows last week, I took the Cougars to roll. I think BYU is better than what people think. I think the Cougs roll this week against the Baylor Bears. USC, Wisconsin. Wisconsin traveling the West Coast, not a favorable matchup for the Badgers there, in my opinion. I'll leave the Notre Dame game for last. Oklahoma, Auburn. I think you got to go Boomer. Texas A&M, Arkansas. I'd like the Aggies in that matchup. Mississippi State, Texas. That's Texas in the landslide. Ohio State, Michigan State. I think that's another blowout. Stanford traveling to Death Valley. Their first real ACC road test. We're about to figure out if Stanford is going to be competitive in the ACC, but I like Clemson at home. The Iowa State Cyclones versus the Houston Cougars. Houston is really bad on offense, although I think really Willie Fritz can turn that around. Give him 2 or 3 years, Willie Fritz will be all right at Houston. Georgia, Alabama. I'm going to go out on a limb here and take Georgia just because Georgia hasn't lost a regular season playoff game or a regular season game and since the Wutan flu. So there we go. LSU big over South. I like the Washington State Cougs versus BYU. I like the Cougars in that one. I like Arizona. Utah, Arizona. I got to roll with the Utes. The Utes are tough at home. Oregon, UCLA. I like Oregon by a lot. Illinois, Penn State. With it being night game, Happy Valley up there with the Creepers. Yeah, I could see Penn State winning that one. But the topic du jour, Notre Dame, Louisville. Notre Dame comes in 3-1, ranked number 16. Louisville comes in number 15, 3-0. It's not going to be easy, but I think Louisville beats them. I think Notre Dame's inability to move the ball through the air is going to hamper them, and it's going to put the defense in bad situations. Notre Dame's special teams have been horrendous the last couple of weeks. Not even talking about the block kick against Northern Illinois. For some reason, Marcus Freeman's teams. If you look at the teams that Notre Dame's beaten, are you shocked that Northern Illinois beat them? I think it's a curious case here. I think Jeff Brom has something on Al Golden and Marcus Freeman defensively, and I think Brom is going to go in there, and I think Louisville rolls. To be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if Louisville beats them by 10 or it's really close. Um, I just feel like Denbrock has the got to get Jeremiah Love involved early, and I think Notre Dame's got to play some good old fashioned trestle ball in 3 yards in a cloud of dust and keep the ball out of Louisville's hands in order for that to be a successful day at Notre Dame Stadium. Just my opinion. If they don't have a game plan for running the ball, I'm gonna really be interested to see what Denbrock has got cooking up. And I guess we could run through some interesting NFL slate games. Got about 5 minutes left here. These post game shows are about 30 minutes long. Um, Games that have the interest peaked. I want to see New Orleans, Atlanta. I think that's a coin flip game. Uh, I would lean Atlanta at home. The Bears taking on the Rams at home. Stafford's been there before, so I like the Rams on the road. I get it; those guys get paid on the 1st and 15th too, but I like Stafford. Minnesota traveling to Green Bay could be an interesting matchup here. Um, I think that would be a big win for Minnesota to get that one. Keep it rolling. The Carolina Panthers. Andy Dalton going up against his former team, the Cincinnati Bengals, whom let him go and they tore it down to get Burrow. So we will see. Me personally, I'd like to sprinkle a little on the Panthers to win that one. And I think the Houston Jacksonville game is a do or die for Jacksonville at this point. They gotta go in there and they gotta get a win. An 0-4 start. I think your percentage of going to the playoffs is very, very low. Um, might cost Doug Peterson the job eventually. 0-4 start. You've lost 11 games in a row, or 11, or that would be 12 games in a row. That's tough right there. Browns Raiders. I think that is a must win for either of those teams. And then Sunday Night Football. A really intriguing matchup here. You've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens, and I lead Bills. That's and then for some reason we're doing 2 games on Monday night again. I, for the life of me, have not figured this out, but the Titans taking on the Dolphins. Who's showing up to watch that? This guy, probably not so much. And then we got the Seahawks taking on the Lions. That is an interesting game. Can Seattle get to 4-0, or does Detroit get to 3-1? Interesting matchups. New England travels out to for a 4 o'clock game. Travels out to San Francisco. Be interested to see how New England plays. If Drake may get some more snaps or not. That's about all the interesting findings going on in the football world, but also the Oakland Athletics close it out in Oakland. I just, I heard the mayor of Oakland was there. It's really sad you lost 3 sports teams in 6 years because you couldn't get a deal done. That is that's kind of a joke, to be honest. In all reality, I think the A's should stay in Oakland. I think they should have just built a new stadium. If you would have built a new stadium, you would still have the Raiders, and you'd still have the Athletics at least. I think the Warriors were leaving regardless, but that that's just what it is. So, with that being said, we are right at the 30-minute mark. Just clicked over a little past midnight. For everybody watching out there, please hit the like and subscribe button. And next time, come on over to YouTube and join in the conversation. We got probably doing a show tomorrow night. Gonna do a little more in-depth Notre Dame game breakdown versus Louisville. Talk about some happenings in college football. Unpacking this Notre Dame NIL thing that they've got. They're rolling out a new collective. Brady Quinn's collective flopped. Uh, it's just we had Tyler Siskey on the other night, and one of the points that he drilled home is show me a team in college football that isn't spending resources, and I will show you a loser. And Notre Dame, the whatever the fund foundation or friend, whatever the hell that was, failed miserably. They couldn't. I don't think they had the money. They found the money to pay Riley Leonard, so I guess. And with the stuff going on, I think they used all their money to pay Riley Leonard, and then didn't really want to pay anybody else. But Notre Dame fans, Cam Ward's pretty good, huh? Will Howard's pretty good, huh? Dylan Gabriel's pretty decent, huh? At least they can throw a forward pass down the field. So I don't know. We'll have to dig into this rally thing. The guy that is in charge of it is the same guy that is doing the football building. For some reason, his name is slipping my mind. Yeah, the Notre Dame rally. What is that guy's? Jack Shields is the guy's name. So Jack Shields is, I guess, in charge of this for profit. That is something that people need to know, that this NIL collective for Notre Dame is for profit. That is also something that needs to be put out there. I don't know how well they'll publicize it, that it is for profit. It's not non-for-profit. So Brady's idea, vision, for what he thought the NIL collective was going to be, but realistically, it's not name, image, and likeness. I know people want to call it that, but it's pay for play. It's just what it's always has been. So, Notre Dame's got to go out there and spend the resources. You want to win football games? Spend some money. You don't want to win football games? Just keep slugging it out and keep losing to NIU. That's where we're at right now. So I'm interested to see how well they roll this rally program out. And Jack Shields is a big time booster. He put up a ton of money for the football facility at Notre Dame, so I'm sure he's gonna bring in some major contributors to this, or they wouldn't be doing that. But I believe it takes over at the first of the year, so some of the people that are getting no NIL or getting NIL, we'll have to see. And then the House versus NCAA, we'll have to see how that shakes out, because that's not far from over yet. And somebody needs to figure out what are you doing with Title IX, because that's going to be a big issue. So the $20 million that all these athletic departments are going to have to brace for, that's not in the budget either. Shout out McCready and Siskey. Tyler's Siskey's been pretty close on that situation as well. I just don't know how you're going to roll something out like NIL and the transfer portal together and not expect it to cause issues. So But tomorrow, me and Carter will be diving in depth into the rally and seeing what that's about. But remember, people, rally is a for-profit NIL, so just remember that. All right, and that's been the Andre Duke Show. And if you can, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be live tomorrow. We'll tweet it out from the show account. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. And both of our personal Twitters are on there. The link in the bio. So with that being said, everybody have a good night.